So you want to be a product manager, but you have zero experience. Don't worry, you're in the right place. I've got the exact roadmap that got me hired in my first PM role. I've now been a PM for 5-6 years. PM is short for product manager, if folks are not aware. And I'm a firm believer that anybody can do this role if you put your mind to it. Most people in tech these days say you need to have an MBA to be a product manager, or you need to have years of tech experience. And while these things definitely help, I will acknowledge that they're not critical to the success. The best 2-3 product managers that I've ever worked with did not have an MBA, did not have a lot of tech experience. They were just very hardworking and very smart people, willing to put the time, willing to put the effort into solving problems. And we'll get a little bit into this later in the video as well. So this video is basically a mini master plan on how I did it. Basically strategy, prep work, and etc. And basically what you can also utilize to better yourself. So breaking into products is basically 3 things, in my opinion. It's positioning, it's prep work and being smart about it, and it's communication and being smart about it. It's communication being your outreach pillar, prep work being your homework that you need to do once you get into the interviews, get into the roles, being able to sell yourself. And then positioning. Some of it comes down to luck, I will admit. And then some of it comes down to the company's positioning, the industry's positioning, what's happening in the world. And that's okay, that's all industries in general. So, first step 1, this is the basics, your prep work. You need to be able to understand the landscape, learn the basics. This is non-negotiable. You need to be able to have a good understanding of some of the PM prep books. A great one is Cracking the PM Interview. I'm going to put that right here. It provides practical frameworks, real life problems that were solved, a lot of anecdotes, detailed explanations of PM concepts, roadmaps, what is a roadmap, backlog prioritization techniques, etc. And basically gives you a lot of insider insights of the industry from recruiters and thought leaders in the tech space. So it's basically a sort of map of what you need to know if you were to ever be a product manager. And if you ever want to be a product manager, you should have at least read 1 or 2 books about the role. This is non-negotiable. Very, very firm believer in this. Otherwise, you're not serious about the role. Step 2 is over communication. It's going to be your best skill. Now, what do I mean by over communication? 2 things essentially. Firstly, communication is going to become very important in your current role, and also sort of see if there's any synergies within your company, any sort of other roles where you might be doing product management-ish sort of work, sort of owning projects, sort of owning timelines, sort of owning deliverables. Are you talking to users? Are you talking to customers on a database? A lot of this has a lot of overlap with product management work. And so this is where the over communication part comes in, where you can talk to and so this is where the over communication part comes in, where you can talk to your manager, start to your bosses, and be like, hey, I would like to transition my title into something that's more product manager friendly, since I am doing a lot of those responsibilities. And this is great if you're in the tech field, but if it's not, it is also still a great skill to have, because communication is a very important skill as a PM. You'll be working with designers, you'll be working with engineers, you'll be working with stakeholders, CEOs if you're in a small company, or managers, bosses, users, customer support, sales teams. You have a lot of people you're going to be interacting with, and what's the one thing that's common between all of them? Communication. So this is a skill that you need to sharpen. Step 3 is similar to step 2, showcase relevant experience if you have it. Have you ever sort of delivered on a project? You've probably overlapped with some PM work. Have you ever solved a problem for a user? You've, again, probably done some PM work, collaborated with teams. This is very similar to PM work. You need to be able to sell a story within the resume, the CVs that you eventually will end up sending out to companies or firms where you want to be working as a PM, right? The biggest thing companies look for within product managers is initiative. Can you drive things? Can you drive metrics? Can you drive results? Are you committed to sort of delivering and moving the needle? And after all, I'm a firm believer in this, because people really care what you did in a role, not necessarily what your title was, right? You could be at Google, you could be a senior analyst, but your day-to-day role might be just checking up on ad metrics, versus someone at a startup could be wearing 5 different hats and just be a regular product manager, but they might be dealing with sales in one day, customer support the other day, 5 user interviews the day after that, then a launch that's breaking, and there's a fire happening in production where 10,000 people cannot see a feature, and now they're managing all that and kind of surviving, with some bruises, and that's sometimes a lot more impressive than someone who is a senior analyst or a senior product manager, but doing maybe a fourth of those things. Step 4 is mastering the interview. So this is, again, I think a very big non-negotiable in my opinion. Once you do get in the right shoes, you need to be able to have practiced the product manager interview at least 100 times, in my opinion. 10 to 20 mock interviews will get you warmed up. Aim for 100 and you'll get to probably a 50. There's a lot of mock interview PM questions out there. So much source material. All you need to do is do a Google search and you'll find it, trust me. Popular PM product manager questions, and you'll find a whole list of them. How to design a library for the blind, for example. Or you are a PM for YouTube. YouTube views are down by 10% month over month. What do you do? Those sort of logic or conditioning questions, and these really test how you think, and they weed out candidates that are not able to think critically. So this is going to be a non-negotiable, in my opinion, that you have to have practiced these questions, because only then will you start understanding how to think like a product manager. I remember before my first sort of product manager gig, I think I probably did around 20 to 30 interviews, and I don't think that was enough. And when I say 20 to 30, it was mock interviews, just practicing how to deal with all these sticky situations. And lastly, step 5, this is kind of a bit more businessy, but you need to be able to network. This is the name of the game for any field. You need to be able to make connections. You need to be able to talk to people. One way to do it is, through forums, online Reddit threads, engage on LinkedIn, start making posts, start trying to be a thought leader in the space, try to talk about product, and you'll automatically start coming in within online circles. Another way, more organic way is start looking for internal projects within a company that you're already in, within a role you're already working in, or a project where you can talk to customers. This could be your own idea, for example. Hey, I want to build an app. Can I go talk to 5 customers and start getting some sort of validation, whether it's worth building? Boom, you're starting to do product discovery. So sort of doing that as an initiative, and then seeing if you can sell this initiative to people within a network, right? You might want to break into an internship position or a junior PM position. You can start to polish this up, and a lot of people do product management stuff without even realizing it, and sometimes it's underrated on their behalf, but if a recruiter looks at it, they might give it some weight. So quick recap, I think PM books are essential, interview prep is essential, and they get you in the right mindset. Highlighting your PM skills as much as you can within the CV, also very essential. And become obsessive over practicing the interview questions. And don't forget to network authentically. And honestly, all these 5 steps are easier said than done. I can go deeper into each one of these and into what worked personally for me. And let me know in the comments if there's any area of interest that's more helpful for you folks, and I'd be happy to go deeper into one of the points, because I'm not gonna lie, did all of these 5 steps to secure my first product management role, and I'm sure if you do them well as well, it will work for you as well. And I'm hoping this can add a little bit of value to you folks, and if there's a point that you guys want me to go deeper in, happy to do so. Just leave it in the comments, and I can go deeper into it in the coming videos. Ciao.